So hi, I'm Shobhit Narang. So today on Balcony Ticket we have Daria with us. Daria, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is one of the most anticipated conversations, so I'll just quickly dive in and let's discuss.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Daria, tell us about your journey. How did it begin from Ukraine to India?
I think it started. I mean, from the age of 10, I was into theater and I was acting. Then I was singing for a long time. What should I study? And my choice was between the law to study law and study philosophy. And I think this is where the main kind of decision of my life. I think that decision caused everything what happened later on. And I remember I came to meet Dean with my mother, Dean of law faculty, and he like it was everything was great. And he told me, "Mama, you have a smart girl." And then he told me like you should just go and buy some books. And I went out to buy books. And my mom came out and she was a bit, upset. And I'm like, "What happened?" Like, no, just he just asked me to pay a bribe. I'm like, "Oh my god, wait, it's a law faculty, and you need to go against the law." I'm like, no, I'm definitely going for philosophy. And so I didn't apply anywhere apart of my university, which turned out kind of to be almost like city inside the city. And there I was studying. At the same time I was into theater, so I joined two theater groups. And at the same time, while studying and being part of the theater, I also was organizing theater festivals in summer. It was like theater camp with like 300 people, with like different workshops and art exhibitions in winter. It was like a lot of things happening at the same time. And then I started directing theater plays. Then I thought that I had a break between my bachelor and master, and I thought, I kind of know the Western world quite well, and I want to do my PhD in Germany. So I thought, let me try to explore the East. So I sent my CVs in different art organizations, different art centers, schools in Japan, India, Korea, and China. Okay, and I got like different responses, different replies. And cut to, I chose India, Gwalior boys boarding school, like Scindia boys boarding school, from all the options. And this is where all this started. Most probably in like parallel universe, there is Dar, who is in Japan, and making films in Japan or in China or Korea. So I came to, at first I checked their website, and they had horse riding, swimming pool, and archery. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely my scene. Great. My mom looked at it and I was like, yeah, he's great. You should go. And I came to Gwalior. I spent there 6 months, and I directed Founders Day play. It was quite big play, and the school was very generous to support me in like all the crazy ventures and plans that I had. For example, I actually came to India with like 2 pairs of stilts. Like how in the circus people walk on the stilts. So I had 1.5 meter stilts and half a meter stilts. And I came to Gwalior. I duplicated all of them, and I put boys on the stilts. I used like real fire on the stage. Till now, I don't know how they allowed me for students to like throw fire, to jump inside. I mean, I think I shouldn't even mention it. I don't think it's legal. It was incredible. And so I had Anand Mahindra watching plays, and Jyoti Aditya Scindia with his mother, and they loved the play. So they called me for dinner. And Anand told me that, you should actually check out Bombay, because it's quite creative place. And I think he was member of Whistling Woods, like board member or something. So he's like, just check it out, this school. Well, great. I came to Bombay. I couldn't find anything. I remember when I first landed to Bombay, and like there is ocean or the sea, so I'll go and check it out. And I just checked the map, and Juhu Versova was just next to the water. I'm like, great. I decided to have a like cup of tea next to the beautiful water. And of course, everything is blocked. There is nothing in Versova. Like all the buildings are there. There's not even one coffee shop next to the water. I was really disappointed. And I came to Whistling Woods. I checked the cheapest course. The cheapest course was documentary filmmaking. I'm like, great. I always wanted to do documentary. I applied. I got in. Went back to Ukraine. After a couple of weeks, I got a call from Whistling saying, you're the only person who applied for the course. No one wants to study documentary filmmaking. I'm like, okay, so what should I do? He's like, do you want to apply for another one? I just opened the website. I checked another cheapest course, and that was screenwriting. And it was short course in screenwriting. I applied, came to Bombay, studied, and then Whistling Woods asked me to stay and to teach there. So I started teaching in Whistling Woods for 3.5 years, and a lot of students of mine became my ADs. And my first ever project, which was short film Sarla, which never seen the light of the day because it transformed into 3.5. So they were helping me shooting it. They were on the set. A lot of teachers were against students just going and bunking some classes, and I'm like, guys, come on. The real experience on the set is the most important thing. I still think so. So I shot the short film. I showed it on Raka shop. He really liked it, and he's like, shoot it again. Just use better camera. I'll just give you better camera. And I was like, great. So we shot it again. I showed it to him. He's like, oh, great. But do you want to shoot it again? I'm like, no, Rag, if I shoot it again, it should be a feature film. So I went and I wrote a film. I brought it to Anurag, and I'm like, I want to do this film. And he's like, great, so do it. And I'm like, will you help? And Anurag's like, yes, I will help you with my goodwill. I'm like, okay, thank great. So I'll figure it out, because he thought that the real filmmaker, the one who makes films, whether he or she has money or not. Maybe he was right. So I thought how to do it. I put team together, was pitching for a long time, and then we realized that the best way is just to shoot it using our own, I guess, abilities and people and time, and instead of just knocking to all the doors, we can just build our own, maybe sloppy, but our own building.
Yeah, so after like 3.5 happened, it was in the post-production, and we've done it just ourselves. We crowdsourced it. So like we had a crowdfunding campaign. So it was completely almost a zero budget. And then while doing the post-production of it, we realized that I have everyone. I have my producer, I have my cinematographer, I have my sound designer. What if we just go and shoot another feature film? How Nam De Bao was born. And we realized that the only place that it was not raining was in Ladakh and Spiti Valley. So we decided to go there and to shoot. I had 1 week to write a script. I wrote a script. And then, of course, another month of alteration and pre-production. And then we went to Ladakh and we shot Nam De Bao with like 10 people crew. And of course, during that process, we came up with the idea of actually starting the company. I mean, Jugaad, I think, was formed during 3.5. And then we got people working for us starting from Nam De Bao, and then everything kind of like became a snowball effect. Nam De Bao festivals, 3.5 festivals, then Netflix, then music videos, ads. So kind of big ball.
Talking about your filmography, I think it was Cold Mess that had made Jugaad a very popular name. So it was a path-breaking success. It is a beautiful song, but one cannot not cry while watching that video. So that video is about toxic relationship, and it touched the intricacies and complexities of that. So how did you come up with the idea of having like a portrayal of toxic relationship?
I think it came from Pratik. Pratik wanted to work with me after seeing 3.5, and he thought that 3.5, the way how it was showed, the way how the story was told, it's very similar to what he imagined for Cold Mess. He sent me this like long write-up about how he sees music video, and I love working with any creatives who are so involved and so hands-on what they want to do. So he wrote that he wants to do a video on, I mean, it's Cold Mess, right? So it is toxic relationships. It's a story about two people who love each other but they can't be together. And then he put some reference there and really beautiful ideas. And when I read it, I thought it's something that I can relate to. It's something that so many friends of mine can relate to. When you're with someone who you want to be with, but you can't because you keep destroying each other, but you can't be apart. And when you see each other, you're going back. And when you're just going back and you have that first kiss, you're in your head, fuck, I really don't want to be with that person. And then again, and everything is just so difficult because you don't know whether your strong connection, attraction, is it physical? Is it on the level of, I don't know, soul or mind or just habit? And I thought, if I can just put my own experience and experience with people around me in my crew, and I can talk to them, and if this video can capture two things, on the one hand, those striking, painful, and yet so sweet feelings and experiences that I had, and on the other hand, the backdrop of Bombay, the way how I feel it and how I see it. Not Bombay of 2004, but Bombay of at that point of time, it was what, 2017, 2018. Here and now, whenever you're taking a cab and you are just like you just broke up and you're kind of crying, but at the same time you are happy, but then you're like just you turn lilo, and then you're like again going back to the same person. So Bombay is a very interesting creature. It always adapts to your feelings. It always observes you. It always it's merging with you and what you feel. And I want to capture that as well. And then so we've created a big deck for the video. We sent them to Pratik. He really liked it. And then we started thinking who can act there. And for me it was of course Jim and Zoe, because I worked with them before and they were the only people whom I knew can give so much themselves into the project and practice and workshops, and at the same time just I knew that they will immediately know what I want to tell and how I want to tell and how I feel it. So yeah, this is how it was.
I mean, it's a lovely video, but my favorite bits are the ones that are shot underwater. If you allow me to dissect it with you, so I thought of the video as 4 different stages. The first stage is when both of them, they jump in the swimming pool while it is empty. Then is when they are underwater. Then is when they are not letting the other person come to the surface. Then is the last one where they are screaming but they can't listen to the other person.
Correct.
So I mean,
I think swimming pool, the visuals came from the artwork of the album. Pratik really wanted to have swimming pool and with 2 people inside, and I didn't know whether I want to put it because I had a feeling that people kind of had it before in music videos, and somehow something I had some reference in my head, so I was not sure how it will work out. But then when we discussed what if swimming pool can evolve, and then the idea started with them jumping into the completely empty swimming pool, which represents the idea of breaking yourself, right? And at the same time jumping into something that you don't know whether it will destroy you, whether you will land safely or you will just be hurt, but you're jumping together at the same time. And then we start developing that idea and evolvement of the swimming pool, which kind of metaphorically represents what we feel inside and how we feel. Yeah, we do feel. We feel happy, we feel serene, we feel suffocated, we feel captured and trapped. And that feeling when they're trying, for example, to breathe there, but they can't. I think for me, it was the only way how we can show that suffocation that you're getting after, let's say, breakup, or after someone left you or you left that person, and when you literally can't breathe. But yet it's so, I don't know, it's so inspiring in some way, because you know that there is a new chunk of life that being suddenly reopened for you, because you're again alone, you're again on your own, and there is something else awaits you, which is being represented by the ant when she sits in the car and she eats lemon tart. It's still lemon tart, so it's still them. They're still there in each other's lives, even in those weird habits. But yet, there's something big awaits me. Or when Dean is just opening the curtains and he knows that she's with him, and yet he's starting new life. So I don't know, I think that the circle of life was for me interesting to represent, and I didn't want to go with a usual narrative story, because we saw it so many times. Someone together, they can't be together because they're not good for each other and they're breaking up, or they're overcoming their differences and then they're together. I didn't care about how they will end up. What I care about is, for me as the audience, to actually feel each and every stage of love or hatred or suffocation with them. It was an interesting experiment. Just whatever I feel, can I put it on the screen or not? Can I make you feel what I feel?
Right. And I think there was a very interesting use of camera work, because it was fly on the wall technique and it made the video even more intimate. So we thought that we were actually a part of that video in a very large way.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And also the idea of shooting on 16mm brought this idea of nostalgic feeling, right? Because your relationship is always, if you think about your past relationships, right? Like someone whom you dated before, it always gives that 16mm filter on your memory in terms of the softness, in terms of the romantic feel. But actually, if you remember, it was quite fucked up, right? But no, because it's in the memory, it just gives that soft feeling. But I don't know whether it was like that or not. Most probably not. And I knew that 16mm can help me with that. 16mm can help me to capture romantic Bombay. And 16mm is a creature. Like when we were shooting, we didn't know how the footage will come out, whether it will come out. What if someone will just by mistake, open the film? Or what if the camera just caught the light and didn't capture the way how we wanted it? And we didn't have time to play around with the tests and with the light with the camera. So a lot of things were almost just on fluke. We hoped that it will work out, but we didn't know for sure. And again, the budget was so limited. We had a very limited number of cans, so we couldn't take too many retakes, for example. So, and then when finally the footage came to us from the processing studio, I had that almost like tremor to see whether it's good or not. And when I saw it, each take was for me so special. Like it was so, like it had its own life.
So Jugaad in a lot of ways became this flag bearer of new age content. And I think it was Sage that testifies that, because it has such fresh perspective. So how did you come up with the storyline for Sage?
We were listening to the song several times, and we went back and forth for different ideas with Ritvis and his team. And then I think team cracked something, and then everyone was discussing that it didn't like this, didn't like that. But we were, let me try. And I was just like, I was sitting on the balcony, I was like listening to the song over and over again, and I just thought about a really tall boy. And because Ritvis music inherently has this combination of bittersweet feeling, like you feel so emotionally, attracted to someone, and it's so empathetic. So I felt, what if it's like the boy who's really tall, and so he's kind of outcast, he's living his own life. That was just the idea. And then that thought drove me to another, which was, what if he's meeting like really short girl? And I found sweet. I shared with my producer, with Dar, and he really liked it, and he's like, yeah, just write it. And I wrote it. Usually when I write, I share it with my entire team, and then maybe just with a couple of more people who are eager to read scripts, always looking for ones. They liked it, so we sent it to them, and it was immediately like the idea.
Let's talk about Liggi, because I think it was one of the more interesting videos that we have had. It's a very simple video if we think about it in a logline description, but at the same point of time, it's a very interesting take.
We sent the track, and then we had the brainstorm session, and Dar came up with the idea because he was in one of the art galleries, and he saw a painting of a young bride, and he just thought about that, why we always have stories before the wedding and like leading to the wedding, but not that first day after the wedding. So he told me this idea, and I thought it was really, really exciting and fun and so unusual. And so I told him, like, I think it will suit so well to the song. And I wrote a script about the girl who just like wakes up and she's going completely crazy while he's sleeping. And yeah, so I guess it was a pretty simple process.
We'll have like an endless conversation about all the works that Jugaad has done in the past, but keeping this conversation short, let's talk about the post-COVID work. So I think it was Kasoor and Rahi that had come during this lockdown.
Correct.
And both of them were great success. Both of them were path-breaking success. But Kasoor saw this social media limelight. How did you come up with this idea of reaction video?
I wanted to do something which is just not only, I would say, like narrative based with the actress, but so the idea came to me before lockdown, and we had long conversation with Pratik how to take it forward, and then we decided to do it. And I wanted to have people emoting to the question that I'm designing for them while listening to the song, because I often experience when I write a script and I listen to particular music, it leads me to certain ideas. So the music that we listen to always influence us in a certain way, right? Our behavior, our mood, and we are walking, confident, or we are like jumping around, or we're imagining ourselves as a certain character while listening to the song. I thought it can be interesting structure to have for a video, when I will design a letter with instructions, and I will design a video with different questions that I can send to all the fans, and they will be playing the song and playing the video, and video will have different questions popping up, which will take them on the journey of their own memory. So I will start with thinking of their first breakup, then I will give them some slightly lighter question, funny question, then really hardcore question. And so I thought it will be interesting way to show emotional journey of the person. So I told this idea to Deer. He really liked it. We pitched it to Pratik in lockdown as well. I was not sure about doing it in lockdown because everyone was doing crowdsourcing videos, and I didn't know whether it will be just like lost among other videos, but we just decided to do it anyway, just to have an interesting experiment. I remember I told Pratik, if it will not work out, it won't work out, at least it will be interesting test. We sent it to people and we got around like 500, 600 entries. And I was really worried to see whether people will just watch it like this, without any reaction. And then my first 10 people that I checked, like one of the person was crying, another person was like laughing and emoting so well. And when I saw those 10 videos, I knew that we have a cut. Then we got Rohan, our editor, on board, which also has done an incredible job because he had to go through all the videos, choose the best emotions. I think I went through only like 200 videos, and those 200 videos took me 1 week because I had to go through each and every second. And we had a big like Excel sheet where we had to write the best emotions, the best expressions. Yeah, and then we just put it together, and I was worried to see the first cut, but I saw it and I welled up. So I was quite happy about it because I knew then other people also will be able to react. I think my first check is like my emotions, how I react. If I feel something while watching it, and if I feel it, I know that some people will feel it too.
And what it's like to work in this post-COVID universe? How is the space so different?
I mean, of course, it's completely different now. Like if, let's say 1 year ago, someone would told me that I have to direct without being on the set, without physically being present for the actor, without like touching them and explaining through like, you're almost like body touch, tactiles, how to feel, how to think. I wouldn't think that it would be possible. But then it was a challenge. Our first, I think, project was, so Kasoor was happening, the edit was happening. Then we had another commercial for Stay Free. And that was my first experiment without being present on the set and just sending the DOPs in different parts of the country. And then Tinder happened. And of course, that was the most challenging project because we had 6 DPs in all around India, and we had more than 35 cast members. And so at some point of time, I had like 3 laptops in front of me while 3 shoots were happening at the same time. And I had to like handle all 3 of them through Zoom calls. So for me, it is interesting. I think the only irritating part is that you're in front of the screen 24/7 because you're on the shoot, then you're with your team, then you're checking the footage. So it ends up being the entire day. And of course, it's slightly difficult, I guess, just physically for your mind, for your eyes. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it. Like, I really liked it. I can't say, oh, it's just so bad, I can't wait to come back on the set. It's just different experience, a different creature. It has its own, I would say, just inspiring moments for me.
So in closing, Dar, what's your advice for young filmmakers?
I think the most important thing is just continue working, continuing creating, and just not stopping because of any condition, because you don't have cameras, you don't have people who support you, you don't have money. The most important thing right now is just continuing creating, taking a pen, writing a script, taking your mobile phone camera, shooting, just expressing yourself, understand who you are and why you want to tell the story. What do you have that you think I need to watch? How do you feel the world in a way that you want me to feel that? And that understanding your own voice, I think the most precious things that filmmaking and any art gives you. And like trying to find that, continuing reading a lot, continue listening to good music, trying to go against certain social habits that certain era gives you. For example, addiction to, I don't know, our gadgets and our mobile phones and our iPad, our Instagram. Just delete Instagram for the next 1 week just to see how you feel. Just putting yourself in uncomfortable zone and seeing how your brain functions and starts reacting in those moments. And yeah, just continue creating and continue existing. I don't believe that the artist is the only one who has to suffer. I think artist is the one who chooses how to exist with how to exist and how to create, with suffering, with happiness, with I don't know, under the blanket at night in your grandparents' house. It's always your choice how to be, how to feel, and what kind of stories to create. And that freedom that we have, that we need to respect and we need to nurture.
Right. And is there scope for enough filmmakers, indie filmmakers, in future?
Oh yes, absolutely. It's just starting. I think this is right now. It's great time for filmmaking. We have so many different platforms. We have so many different audience. We have so many filmmakers who accept each other and who start collaborating with each other. So absolutely, it's a new world.
Okay. On that note, thank you for this conversation, Dar. It was such a lovely conversation, and I hope you liked it too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, but before you go, I would like to do that Kasoor video with you. So probably I'll just read out the cues. Yeah, perfect. So, okay, here we begin. Think about your first love. Remember the person you could never say I love you to. Think about your hardest breakup. Think about your first kiss. Send love to everyone who's watching this video right now. Once again, thank you so much. It was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much. It was lovely.